Hi, thanks for sharing your plan. Uh, in your post, you didn't say exactly what you couldn't do. Well, how can I make the roof ignore the second floor of the garage? You don't need to do that. I don't think. Uh, I've got your plan open. I've got an elevation camera open. As you can see, I have a trial version of Pro 2020. Not quite sure why you've done some of the things you've done. Um, but I thought I'd point out there's a dashed line in your plan view right here and right here. And that's where the flat ceiling meets the angle of the roof. And that's on a layer, a named layer in display options called ceiling break lines. There it is, the ceiling break lines. You can't select it or delete it or anything. You can only display it or turn it off. Okay. Just thought I'd pass that along. Okay. Now, why you got brick on the siding? These are siding walls. I figure you may have done it through this way, like on walls. No. Let's see. I'm going to shift select these walls. Shift select is you click on one and press the shift key, hold the shift key down, and until you select a group of similar objects. Now I'm going to go over to the materials tab and undo what you did. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. I'm sure perhaps it makes sense to you. It doesn't to me. Reset it to use default, so it'll just show siding. Plan materials, use default, which should be just drywall. Okay. Now, if you want, I don't know why you would want the roof to ignore the second floor. You've done a pretty good job on the rest of the model. Let's take a look. Create an overview camera. Yeah, it looks nice. I can tell you've got a lot of work in this, and you've done a good job. Now, if you want brick on this, you ought to use brick walls. Same thing over here. I haven't really inspected that. But it's not a good practice just to change the material unless you're planning to use brick veneer that's only like a fraction of an inch thick. Yeah, you've used siding 6 walls over here. And the way to do that, I'm just going to, again, shift select these walls. I'm going to go over here to wall types and change it to brick 4. That's what they should be, or brick 6. Depends on how much money you want to spend on framing. And then we'll do the same thing on the first floor. Where's the top? There it is. Same thing, shift select to get a group select. And wall types, brick 4. Also, if all the walls are going to be this type, you ought to go over to edit default settings, walls, exterior wall. Oh, well, you've kind of done it. Let's go to wall type and see. No. This is new person waste of time stuff. Over here, brick 4 or brick 6. I don't know what you're trying to do. And then you could go over here to, it looks like that's the same brick, so I'll leave it that way. But then if some construction professional looks at this, he'll know that you're not nuts. I looked at this and then looked at the elevations and said, this guy's crazy. Nobody builds that way. Okay, now back to your original problem. I've got this elevation camera still open, and I'm going to open that again. Hit Control Tab on my keyboard to go to another open window. Okay, now this one's still showing that old, well, that material that you improperly set. Well, it's gone. Okay. Now, this gable end would probably not be brick. It would probably be siding. So I'm going to set it to, well, you goobered up siding 4. So let me fix that. See, that's what siding 4 should look like, that tan siding stuff. I'm going to shift select those, go over to plan materials and set it to use default. So it'll show siding. Now you weren't asking about this, but I thought I'd mention all this stuff in passing. Now, if I knew what your target ceiling height was for over the garage, I assume this is the garage on the first floor, and this is your bonus room. If you want to build this bonus room completely underneath the roof that's bearing on the first floor, then what you would do is get your dimension tools and figure out, see, there's where it's resting right now. And let's say if you wanted it resting down here, what is that, 8'1"? I'm going to click on this. Well, I'll do it in plan view. There we go to where the roof planes are. And again, shift select them. Then in the edit toolbar, this is the edit toolbar, the one that appears whenever you select something. I'm going to use this tool here. It's called Transform Replicate. And I'm going to move the selected items, which is the roof planes. I'm going to move them down minus 97 inches, 8'1". Now I'm going to go Control Tab back to the, see, and now these roofs are bearing on the garage, and that's how much. And I don't know. You didn't say that in the post exactly what you wanted, but you've already created perfectly good roof planes there, and using the tools at hand, I'm going to raise that up another couple inches. Move it up 2 inches. The reason I did that, I'm going to go back to the camera and I'll point it out, is that this base mold was sticking through the roof, and I don't want the base mold sticking through the roof. And the reason you got this base mold and this crown mold is because those are probably what's set up in edit default settings. Default settings, floors, floor levels. That'd be the second floor. And go over to moldings. And yeah, see there's that. You got that set as a default. And I don't see the crown mold, but that's where that stuff comes from. But you can, Eric said that you could draw these manually. Well, you could, or you can also edit them manually, like I just showed you. And that's usually the way I do it. You have to know the ceiling height you want, and then if these roofs are existing, you have to know, excuse me, if they're bearing on the first floor, or if they're up here, 30 inches off the floor. You have to know these things, measure them, and then apply them to the model. That's about all. I hope this helps you. There's no substitute for just learning the software and learning how to use its tools. And I hope this helps you along in that endeavor. Thank you.